It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having us. And we are here at Serie. I'm Michele, Commercial and Marketing Director. We are one of the top 5 football league in the world. And we put together 20 clubs with a strong heritage. Our aim is to leverage on our heritage in the good of the old days of Serie A in the 90s and in 2000, and the only way to exploit the potential that we have in football, which is the most followed sports globally, is to create innovation and to give advisory and services to our clubs. We are composed by 20 clubs that goes in all over Italy, and we are here in order to explain what is our commercial marketing strategy, what are the club advisory services, and on an international development strategy, we are on a path to entertain the 181 countries that right now have bought the media rights of Serie A through our 61 broadcasters. And the best way to engage our, from the latest research, almost 400 million fans of Serie A globally is to generate value.
Math&Sport is an innovative startup born in Milan, made in Italy. This is already something that we're proud of. We have a tight connection with the Politecnico di Milano, so a university background with some strong research background. With our city and all the professors in the Politecnico di Milano. We were born with one focus, which is to get the most out of big data in sport. We work with different sports, different federations, not only football, but today we're here to talk about virtual coach and our solution for football, which is for sure one of the most innovative and important projects that we have at the moment with Serie A. The beginning of the project was quite an unusual one. We were working with the volleyball teams. We were working with the real-time volleyball data analysis. And we came to meet some people working in the football industry. And they said, oh, we've got a lot of data for you guys to analyze. At the moment, those data, we talk about tracking data, were not used in any mean in the way we are using it today. They were just used for calculating the kilometers run by a player and not much more. And so the idea was, okay, we need to use that data to give more information and more clever analysis to the team on the pitch, and not only to the team, but to all the stakeholders in the industry.
So how the project caught our attention, it's easy. We were in a path of scouting best partners and suppliers in order to create innovation to our clubs. And when we discovered through the University of Politecnico and people involved in sports in Italy, this company called Math&Sport, it was a click. So immediately we found the value in this potential project, and on a leading way, we said we should start and try to quickly have a feedback from the sports side of our clubs. Because as you can imagine, especially in sports like football, the use of ready-to-use KPIs in order to change or support the choices on the pitch is not an easy path. So we said, let's build up a pilot phase in the season 2019-2020, just to have a feedback, to check what works, what doesn't work, and what are the feedback in order to understand if this project might have legs. Because, you know, from a point of view, this could be a marketing project in order to show innovation of the league and tell this new story of technology along with the sports side to give service to the sports division of each team. As a league, and as you know, the sports side is the main important part of the full process, because without them, no one brings the ball and we are not having a league. So in the sports side, and our head of competition was the first person involved, Andrea Butti, to generate this value and bring this value to the team managers, the coach, and the match analyst. So it was more, if I may say, an educational process where, first of all, we show them what's the difference between statistics and ready-to-use KPIs. And that's why it was not only involved the sports side, the club advisory section in Serie, Niccolò, and the marketing team, in order to build up a new brand, like the logo that you now have behind the screen of Gilberto, and to generate value. Second step was about make it work. So, and in order to make it work, we needed to test and to use these and give all the tablets in each stadium and double check the real-time data elaboration, because this software works along with the raw data of Serie, using the algorithm of Virtual Coach and supported by cameras that we have inside each stadium that is tagging each player in real time in order to generate this new algorithm. And this was not an easy path. Imagine even, because this process started in November of the last season, then we had the COVID pandemic as well, and we were managing the test of the pilot phase of Virtual Coach, even in a remote way, due to the limit of people who were able to come inside the stadium. So I may say that the reason of this project working is that even in difficult times like the COVID pandemic, we have seen the value in the product, and not only as a league, but each match analyst of the team of each club have seen this value, giving us a clear feedback, and that's the reason why we extended this collaboration for 3 more seasons.
Our goal since day one, as Michele said, has always been to give information and not data to the people on the pitch. And this difference is something that in the other industries, people and managers are starting to use the best way. And in the sport industry, is still a path that is just started probably. So the focus to work on real time, it really means you have a limited attention span of the users, because they're watching the game and then they're talking with their colleagues, and then they're maybe looking at the tablet 2 minutes, 4 minutes, you know. And what does this mean? This means that really the information that's on the tablet needs to be carefully chosen by the algorithms, but talking with the people that are actually using it. So what we've done with the Serie A and with all the clubs during the pilot project was to collect objective data on which KPI was used most, which screen of the tablet was most useful for each team, which automatic alert was actually used the most. So this to actually give less information, but more useful. So at the end, we've actually, starting from this season, we have actually reduced the number of KPIs we're sending, not because we're not calculating them anymore, but just because we have understood a lot more about what each club wants, and we've managed to give them exactly what they want.
On a commercial side, at the moment, we think that Virtual Coach could be not only a B2B development, so it will not be only a club service, but we want to develop this in a B2C way. So trying to create new products, not only for clubs, but even for our fans all around the globe. In Italy, one of the most important products related to football is Fantacalcio. That is a product in which all the supporters can be, let me say, a virtual coach, because they can choose their players and create their own teams. So virtual coach can help our supporters in order to choose their favorite teams, not only because they are part of their heart team, but because they are related to clear KPIs and clear statistics that can be exploited by virtual coach.
I would say there are three main things we've learned. The first one is don't be scared of the big competition. So there are big companies talking about AI, talking about statistics, analytics, multi-million companies. And as a startup into this world, you might get scared knowing that there are these big guns around, if I may say so. But if you're doing something that is actually valuable and it's innovative and you're doing it in a new way, people will recognize that you have something different. But your unique selling proposition should be very clear to you all the time, and never worry about what the others are saying they're doing. So this is the first thing. Second thing is the importance of human relationship. I mean, this is valid in every business, but especially in sport, being able to speak with people. And in COVID time, it's difficult because there's always a camera and a computer. But being able to have time to sit down and discuss with your main stakeholders, which can be the end user, which can be possible partners, which can be your colleagues. You have to speak and keep the team together and have everybody on the same page at all times. And then the third main thing we take away from this amazing 3 years since we started the business is that the world is becoming more and more, the world of sport is becoming more and more actually a global industry. So we have to think internationally.
I think something that could be discovered in each kind of business. So as well, when you start listening to the market, sharing ideas, sharing knowledge, getting feedbacks by everyone, and not taking a decision only because you are at the top level of an organization, that makes the real difference. And from the words that Gilberto said, I have seen in this year what happened in the last months. So as you know, in a revamped strategy of Serie A, you can be approached by any giant in tech to, and it happened, to create project along with us. Sometimes you need giant because you need to have that global leverage. Sometimes you need people who have the right effort to make things happen. And that's exactly what we discovered with the team of Math&Sport. It's what Serie A is working on this because on a growing path of our new strategy in Serie A on marketing and commercial, what we are doing is only to scout, to analyze the market, and to bring on board the best-in-class partners in order to give value to our clubs. And we found this in Math&Sport, and we built up a company and a project together, which is called Virtual Coach, exactly because what we want to do is to generate innovation. This is one example, and there are several others where the team is working right now in order to generate added value from the league to the club. Not always in a top-end approach, but in a top-down approach, but in a bottom-up approach. So we want to talk with each club in order to get their feedback and then make things happen. Because one of the main objectives that we shared at the beginning of the new strategy is been to give them advice. We create a division inside Serie A, which is called Club Advisory, And inside club advisory, virtual coach is a part of it.
Well, there are few objectives that we're setting for the next few years. For sure, one is to work with Serie A to generate more value and more revenue. And this, for us, is something on top of the list, because working with Serie A and having our name next to Serie A is an honor. And we've worked hard to get to this point, and it's amazing. But as Michele said, is only the starting point of a relationship that aims at generating value for both parties in the next 3 years. And this is the first step. The second step for us, and it's something that we keep in mind every day that we work, is that the value of what we do and how we work, it's on the agility, on the ability to adapt and to act fast. And this is something that as a startup, it's fundamental, and it also gives you an advantage, competitive advantage to all the big international companies around. Being able to adapt to every single project and to work closely with the client and to take care of the client. So we want to keep that as something that will stay with us for the next few years. So we want to keep that as a focus of the company. So stay agile, stay quick, be able to change and adapt to what the clients ask as quickly as possible. But then, of course, as you said, we want to grow, we want to go internationally. We will focus on the international market also thanks to the help of Serie A, that we're working together on this kind of development. And as the sport industry is evolving, we see that there's a strategy, global strategy of partnering. So big companies are partnering with startups to accelerate their innovation process or to open new markets. So of course, looking at partnership with other companies around the industry, it's something that we're looking at as well.